Hi, it's Jeff Chalmers here from discoverdoublebase.com. I'm joined by one of our fantastic orchestral tutors, Joseph Conyers. Joe, thanks for joining me today.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, we've been filming this week, Joe, and I've been asking you a lot of questions about the double bass. I've been really grilling you about your playing, and we've been filming some wonderful lessons that you've been sharing some really interesting insights into the orchestral world, and particularly playing excerpts. And I've been fascinated about your bow grip, and we've spoken about this a little bit, and I wondered if you could maybe kind of share the story behind the grip and how you're approaching it, and we could maybe just talk about this subject, because I know that bass players are really interested in this. I am, and I'd like to hear more about how you came to play the way that you do.
Sure, yeah, well, one of the first things I tell students who study with me is don't look at my right hand. Because even though I'll look, even from here, it does not look that bad, but I've seen pictures of me where it looks like I'm almost holding the bow from underneath. Now, I have some German bow friends who tell me that's my inner German bow player trying to escape this French bow playing body as I slowly try to wrap around. But I think it evolved over time, and honestly, I was never challenged by it. That was the interesting thing by my teacher, Hal Robinson. We may have spoken. I don't remember ever talking about the bow grip in a lesson. The reason it evolved was because I was just trying to get more and more relaxed in my playing, and when I realized when I was kind of on top of the bow, I was always kind of trying to hold the bow. So if I'm holding the bow, to me, I'm more prone to have bow jumps, and I feel there's more tension in my hand. So with time, I just evolved to getting less and less tension out my hand, which means my hand fell back. The other thing is for power.
So the little finger is kind of moving.
Yeah, it actually moves down.
So this part of the hand becomes nearer to the stick.
That is correct.
I see.
That is correct. So it's almost like I'm
And you can see on the bow, you can see that where your fingers have been touching the hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my hand wraps around the bow a little bit more.
Interesting.
And when I drop weight, because particularly if I'm thinking about being relaxed, when I drop weight, I can literally I feel like my hand literally ends up becoming, or the bow becomes an extension of my hand. Throughout the stick, And then when I get to the tip, then it's just my first finger. You can see how it's really kind of in the stick. That's how I transfer the weight to the tip of the bow. But it's just so, Jeff, for me, it's so relaxing to me.
On the down bow, is the weight coming from the back? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
it's
back.
Almost like are you energizing it from the first finger as well?
So that's a great question. So we have not talked about.
Oh, let's talk about it now.
The inside of the bow. And my thumb, actually I had a teacher, Kevin Malden, down in Florida, teach me about this. I remember him telling me specifically about putting my thumb. Now, it's hard to see because I have the grip here. It might be that
if we could address this to this camera here, it's a tricky thing. Do we think we're going to get this?
So on the frog, you can't see the top of the frog because I have the grip on here, but on the frog ends here. And what I do is I put my thumb there so that there's resistance.
Right.
Resistance is your friend, particularly when you're looking for power.
Yes.
So if I were to hold the bow like this, try to take the bow away from me. It's very easy.
Yeah.
But once I do this, try to take the bow away from me.
I see.
And there's resistance, and I don't even have to. I'm not flexing. It's just because I have that little curvature in my hand going into the frog.
Yeah.
If you try to take away, it actually ignites. That's not the word I'm looking for. It sets off.
Yeah.
My thumb, it activates my thumb into holding it. So when I'm doing a down bow, I feel the resistance in my hand with my thumb, and because I'm dropping the weight, this is actually pulling the bow down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the weight falling into the string, and then I feel like with my rest of my fingers, the energy's kind of falling over. And this guy's sounding kind of, a little all over the top, but it's literally falling over the stick. And I think about dropping down. I mean, my hand is there's no muscle that is tense in my hand to play this note. And some would say it's a big, powerful note, but that's when going back to I'm just dropping the weight of the bow in the arm and just drop. Yeah. And then carry through with that first finger. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So and then you're riding the wave.
And then riding
surfing the wave when you get the note started.
Once you get started, then you just ride that energy. Yeah. Because if I were to drop the whole of my weight into the string, it'll be likely too much. I mean, this is the weight of it's too much. So what I'm doing is managing the amount of weight that I have on the string. Yeah. Now this grip, and I wish I remember his name. There was a guy I saw, some Italian bass player, and it made it through Facebook. And the way he described holding the bow was actually very similar to the way I hold the bow.
It's not Gabriele, is it?
I can't remember. I just remember the video.
Okay.
And I think he called it a school. Maybe it's the Italian school.
I think I know the video. I think it's. I'd butcher his second name if I had to go, but it's Gabriele. The surname begins with an R, and I tell you what, I'll provide a link below because I actually think I know what you're talking about.
It was very good because I was like, that's my kind of philosophy.
Beautifully produced, and he's in tails maybe in the video.
Yeah, it is nicely done.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe it is the Italian school. I never was taught that. This is the Italian school of double bass French bow playing, but maybe it was. But I will say, when my first job with the Grand Rapids Symphony, I was principal bass there, and we had just finished rehearsal, and the conductor was on the podium, and he looked over while everyone's leaving. I was on the stage just playing a few notes, just wrapping up, warming down, as the brass players say. Yeah. And he looked over and he goes, "Oh, Philadelphia?" I was like, how did he know I had a relationship to Philadelphia? And he said, I could tell because of your bow grip.
Wow.
And I think about that because we do kind of have a backloaded approach in the section. I look at Hal, because Hal is right next to me.
Yeah.
And Hal's, believe it or not, is even more backloaded than I am.
Really?
This part of his hand is like literally touching the stick. I'm like, how's that? Then it will really look like I'm trying to hold a bow German.
Yeah.
The thing about Hal's hands, his hands are smaller.
Yeah.
His fingers are much smaller and stubbier, but when he holds the bow, it looks perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe a little backloaded, but it looks more perfect than definitely my grip. But the concept is the same. And there are other bass players. There was just a meme I think I just showed you to put on Facebook comparing Xavier Foley as a very backloaded grip as well. Does it evolve out of Philadelphia? Maybe it's something in the water, Jeff.
Yeah?
Maybe it's something in the water that makes the bass players do this backloaded grip approach.
Well, I think it's really cool, and I'm looking forward to going home and trying it myself. So, Joe, thanks so much for sharing that. I'm glad that we jumped on camera, and hopefully people were able to see there the detail of what you were doing. But it's fascinating. It's amazing, the double bass. There's so many different ways to play this instrument, aren't there? So it's a wonderful thing. So thank you so much for watching, and if you want to learn more about Joseph's approach to the double bass, be sure to check out his lessons. We put a lot of care and love and attention into these lessons to get the best out of them and to really share his message about orchestral playing, and we take you through this journey of playing orchestral excerpts. I'll provide the links below, and check out Joseph's Instagram account where he shares some superb performances, a few cool pictures, and the links for that are also below. Thanks for watching, and Joe, thanks for joining me.